Hi, so my midterm project is about attachment styles, and I will be kind of explaining each attachment style and then giving examples with those. Using the textbook Social Psychology by David Myers, as well as using the TV show Grey's Anatomy as good examples to show what different attachment styles may look like. I also used a podcast by Mel Gibbons to kind of explain more in depth about each attachment style, and a doctor that I found on TikTok shows us a little bit of skits. So let's get started. The first one being secure attachment. In Social Psychology by David Myers, explains that when placed as infants in a strange situation, they play comfortably in their mother's presence, happily exploring this strange environment. If she leaves, they become distressed. When she returns, they run to her, holding and then relax and returning, exploring and playing. This trusting and secure attachment style, many researchers believe, form a working model of intimacy, a blueprint for once adult intimate relationships in which underlying trust sustains relationships through times of conflict. In this clip, Lexi Gray, sister of Meredith Gray, growing up with two parents, feels comfortable to show that she deserves love. Let's watch the clip.
You're in me. You're like it's like you're a disease. It's like I am infected by Mark Sloan, and I can't think about anything or anybody, and I can't sleep. I can't breathe. I can't eat. And I love you. I love you all the time. It's every minute of every day. And I love you.
How many attachment styles are they, and what are they?
Okay, so there's 4 major attachment styles. We'll talk a little bit about how they come about as well. So the first one is the securely attached child growing into the securely attached adult. And the secure attachment individuals in their childhood, they get a lot of approach-oriented behavior. So if they...
Wait, approach-oriented?
Yes.
What does that mean?
This. Yeah.
Okay.
So essentially, if they cry as a child, their parents will come towards them, try to figure out what's going on and what's wrong, and try to meet their needs. And so the repetition of...
The next attachment style is avoidant attachment. In social psychology, David Myers explains that it is considered one of the insecure attachments. Avoiding closeness, avoidant adults tend to be less invested in relationships and more likely to leave them. They are also more likely to be sexually unfaithful to their partners in both gay and straight relationships. Here, Meredith Gray is struggling to deal with an absent father and a mother that was emotionally unavailable, struggled to continue on relationships, scared to get hurt or abandoned. She struggled to let Derek in and constantly was fighting on and off with him about whether they could make this relationship work. She avoided closeness because her mother always taught her to be that way, to be closed off and to focus on school.
Still early.
Christina's already chosen cardiothoracics.
Yeah. Well, I guess I'm just waiting to be inspired. I'm happy now. I feel like I know who I am. Plus, I think when you have someone in your life that you love, you really love, I think that's... I don't know, I'm really happy.
What happened to you?
What do you mean?
You're happy? You're happy now? The Meredith I knew was a force of nature, passionate, focused, a fighter. What happened to you? You've gone soft. Stammering about a boyfriend and saying that you're waiting to be inspired. You're waiting for inspiration? Are you kidding me? I have a disease for which there is no cure. I think that would be inspiration enough.
Mom.
Listen to me, Meredith. Anyone can fall in love and be blindly happy, but not everyone can pick up a scalpel and save a life.
Passive avoidant attachment. Who is that person?
So because this person grows up with that childhood emotional neglect, they tend to really not want to emotionally attach to people. They tend to want to keep their space. They basically, as children, adapt to the discomfort of emotional neglect because we're all wired and attuned for deep connection, right? So they adapt by going, well, I don't need that. I'm just going to not need it, so I stop feeling this pain and shame of rejection from it. Because if you grew up as a child yearning for that connection, yearning to be seen, and we're literally biologically wired for that, just yearning for it all the time becomes counterproductive. Eventually, that yearning is so pervasive that the person adapts by going, I'm going to reject the connection that's rejecting me, and that's how I'm going to feel safe. So their big core wounds because of that become, I am defective. They definitely have this core wound of I am shameful. That's why I couldn't get my needs met. They're very sensitive to criticism, although they will not show it. They're too stoic to show it. Very sensitive to criticism though, and they'll really withdraw. And they self-soothe by literally pushing everybody away and icing everybody out because they really go inwards, and they usually rely on different creature comforts for soothing, like binge watching television or eating a lot of food or video games or these sort of things that they can
Smoking
soothe
pot,
through.
drinking.
Yes, exactly. All of those things.
You don't get to call me a whore. When I met you, I thought I had found the person that I was going to spend the rest of my life with. I was done. So all the boys and all the bars and all the obvious daddy issues, who cared? Because I was done. You left me. You chose Addison. I'm all glued back together now. I make no apologies for how I chose to repair what you broke.
The next attachment style is anxious attachment. I use the show Euphoria, where Cassie is one that would show a great example of anxious attachment. In the article Psychology Today, it says, if you have an anxious attachment style, you might feel insecure in relationships and need constant reassurance. You may find yourself thinking, do they still like me, or are they going to leave? You're always chasing that sense of security, but no matter how much you get it, it's never enough. It's like trying to fill a bucket with a hole. The reassurance seeps out almost as soon as it comes in. This often leaves you feeling clingy or overly dependent on your partner for validation. And while you might feel like you love more deeply, you're also more likely to sabotage your relationship with your need for constant affirmation.
Attachment styles, their biggest core wounds are: I will be abandoned, I will be alone, I will be excluded, disliked, rejected, not good enough, and unsafe. And what we'll see is they tend to feel this big trigger of unsafety when people pull away. And so we really easily confuse and intertwine survival with approval as anxious attachment styles. And that becomes really prevalent in childhood. And as adults, the anxious attachment style, they'll have a full nervous system reaction when somebody pulls away. That abandonment will really trigger also this deep feeling of being unsafe. Part of what's happening is they're terrified of losing proximity to people. And they also, as children, didn't ever learn to self-soothe consistently enough. So they really rely on other people to soothe. And when they can't soothe through other people, it will create problems. And also, if they have this huge fear of abandonment, what happens is we abandon ourselves, right? Whatever our core wounds are also become the biggest things we reenact in the relationship to self, because the subconscious mind wants to maintain its comfort zone. So if you see somebody with an abandonment core wound, they're so worried about getting abandoned by others that they will abandon themselves to please others. And that's actually how the wound stays alive. Like if we ask ourselves, hey, those wounds came from childhood 30 years ago, how are they still alive in me now? Oh, because I am reenacting them in relationship to self through repetition and emotion on a daily basis. And if I wasn't doing that, they actually wouldn't still be here. It's not possible. So that's how the subconscious keeps these things. And so what the anxious preoccupied has to do is learn to meet their own needs, reprogram their subconscious core wounds, and then be able to actually consider themselves equally to others, like take their own boundaries into consideration as much as they do with others. And those things become a huge part of the healing process. And the very last thing I'll say is just anxious attachment styles as well. If they have a goal,
Yes.
and then it's not even in the workplace, it's a personal goal.
Yes.
And then their friends say, but I need you. Or then they, want to make social plans or commitments. They'll be so preoccupied with that they struggle to actually balance the other areas of their life. They'll be so focused on relationships, career can be on the back burner, finances, mental growth, emotional growth, spirituality, all those things can kind of take less precedence, which of course they'll feel later over time because they're always deprioritized.
I'm so glad we met. No, really, you're all I've been thinking about. I spend almost every free minute, and okay, honestly, even at work, I'm analyzing all of your behavior and what it could mean and how you feel about me. I have a really deep fear of abandonment, so I'm anxious the whole time during this getting to know each other phase. Okay, I mean, you hide it well. I know. Like last week when you didn't get back to me for a few hours, and when you did, your text was really short. I created this whole thing in my mind that you were upset with me. Last week when I told you I was at that conference for work? Yeah, and then I noticed when you got back, you seemed stressed out. I'm highly sensitive to any changes in your mood. I grew up in a home where people gave the silent treatment, or they lashed out seemingly out of nowhere. So I'm pretty much on guard and take it very personally when you have any negative emotion. But all humans have negative emotions. It's okay for me to be stressed out. Here's the thing. I believe I'm responsible for others' emotional states, and I lose myself in it. Over time, I'll betray myself and make everything about your happiness. Then I'll end up completely resentful, and you will too. I don't know how to give you the emotional space to just be. And when I feel like you pulling away, I'll just cling tighter.